This computer. Letting everyone in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see everyone. We'll begin in just a second. I think we got a few more that might be popping on here. But while we're waiting for a few more to hop on, just a couple of reminders. So we record these classes, we put them, post them to YouTube. And we actually have a few more that we need to post that we previously recorded, but so we post them so you can go back and watch if you missed something and wanted to go back and watch them, or just go back and watch it. You can do that. And then so we usually for these free classes, we usually just keep everyone muted, and then if you have a question, just feel free to put it in the chat, and then I'll be watching that so you can get your question answered. So it's exciting. Get back to these classes.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience with this.
Yeah, so this week we're doing the Chickadee, but then next week we're doing I think we have at least scheduled a chicken. It could change depending on demand, but and then the following one I think is the pictured rocks. Hold on a sec here. Yeah, so the chicken, beach landscape in 2 weeks. 3 weeks is Pictured Rocks, Michigan. And then we'll get a few more scheduled too. That's that one right there. Very good. All right, I think we might have most people now.
Cool. Did everybody get the bird picture that we're going to be drawing tonight? I see a few thumbs.
If you didn't see that yet, I sent it to should be in your email. So check your spam folders, or if you didn't get it yet. There you go.
Do we have everybody, Jake?
I think we have at least most people. I think we're good now. Yeah.
Maybe what we can do is just get started drawing and at least move forward that way. So if you have a piece of charcoal or a pencil or crayon, we're just going to break it down into the simple shapes. That way it becomes, we're going to create that muscle memory. So when we actually do start painting, it will be easy to do. So if you draw a line at an angle, kind of like you're going to do an X, but just do one line. And we're going to have that line as the angle of his body. So we're going to go the top and bottom of him right there. Again, Did you find the picture? Excellent. And if not, I don't know if we could put it up for a second. Hey, we'll see if
Oh,
Jake's still got it. All the pressure's on you now, Jake.
I think I still got it. Hold on. Let's see where to go. All right, here it is. Can you see that all right?
Yeah, oh, I can.
All right.
So if you look at that, just let's break it down to a few different shapes. If you look at just his back before going to the head and to the bottom of his back feathers, not going down the tail, you can kind of see maybe a heart shape. You know that. Heart shape. Kind of the bottom is pushed off to the side a little bit. So let's take the picture down and we'll just kind of see if we can't draw that. So we have our line here and his head's going to be about here. And there's what we have for his body. And for his head, we're going to kind of go straight up, at a slight angle, over and drop down. So here's the shape here. So we got a line this way, this way, this way, this way, and just a little angle right on the back of his head. And of course, this angle right here, that's where his beak is going to be. And his eye is probably going to be right on our line. Maybe a little bit forward. So there's those shapes. And again, we're not worrying about detail right now. And from here, we are going to have, he has a very small feather coating on his back right here before it gets to the feathers. Then we have the feathers, and we can just kind of That was- Of course, we're gonna have a branch going across there. So that was the long route. Let's do it again, but we're gonna shorten it up a little bit. So we're gonna draw our line. We're gonna do So what I did is I had my line and I immediately established that kind of a, I'm gonna describe it as a heart. So it comes down, follows that line down. So don't, just keep your hand moving. Don't worry about accuracy or any details right now. The more you keep your hand moving and making adjustments with the pencil still on the paper, the more accurate you're going to become. So just go up there, move the charcoal or pencil around, and you're going to start seeing it come to shape. Try that again. Again, so we got that line here. We got this heart shape.
Beth was wondering, any more tips for drawing the head?
So for that head, all it is a bump on the shoulders. That kind of reminds me of what my dad would say about using my head rather than just having it be a lump on my shoulders. But it really is just that lumps. When you think about there's the shoulders. So if you come up, it's slightly rounded. It kind of has a hard area where it comes down, but then it cuts back just a little bit. And right where that, right in this area, right here where that bend is where his beak goes. And from the top of the beak, it's here, it goes around. And his eye is about right up, about right there. And on the top of that beak, we'll put a little light shining on it. And this shape, it's funny, if you look at chickadees, you'll actually come across different shapes on their heads. Some of them will actually have just a little bit of a peak like this. So, and the reason I say this is you don't have to worry about it too much because there's a variety of chickadees. And sometimes, you know, they're so fluffy. We have some chickadees that come to our bird feeder every morning, and they're just probably the size of my thumb. Not fluffy at all. Hope he's turning into a duck. Keep playing with that beak. Again, those shoulders are just like that. So try it without the line once. Must have borrowed my tablet to somebody. There's a bunch of drawings in there. All right, so we're going to try without, here's that odd heart shape. You can kind of draw those, that back light feather area. Before it gets down into the big feathers, it's just really light there. And of course, head, over, drop down, come back. If you're using charcoal, just play a little bit and with the shadowing. It's a lot of fun to just right. So how's everybody doing? Excellent, Beth. Um, again, just keep scribbling. Again, what we're trying to do, because we're going to be painting him, we're not worried about details. Once we start painting, we want to be able to just quickly put the bird, the structure of the bird onto the canvas, and then we can worry about details afterwards. But right now, it just getting really comfortable with the anatomy of the bird. And you're going to have good ones and bad ones. Or at least I do. See how quick you can draw him? You know, just a scribble. You could try something like this. That one looks more like a nuthatch than a chickadee. I just got to round them out a little bit. Once you get that pattern down of your drawing, it actually becomes fun and you start taking more liberties, and it becomes definitely a lot easier. You feel more comfortable with him, so it becomes a lot easier to quickly sketch him out. All right, so how's everybody doing? You want to do a few more sketches, or would you like to start painting? Who would like to do a few more sketches? You can do a digital thumb or a visual thumb. Do a few more sketches? All right. So starting out with that back makes it easy. Okay, we're gonna stop just for a second. Jake, are you making fun of my mustache?
I'm just jealous, Jeff. I was feeling left out. It was Katie's idea.
Your mustache. How did you know I had a mustache?
I got a hint of it from the side. I could just barely see. I have to say, I'm glad you brought back the mustache, Jeff.
Sweet. All right. Before I scared the children. All right. So one thing that I noticed that I'm doing with my sketching is I'm making them a little long. So I'm going to try to shorten him up a little bit. So let's Is a challenge? How's everybody doing? Again, we're excellent. Thank you, Elise. Again, we're going to be, thanks, Courtney. We're going to be painting them. So we're going to do a lot of editing with the paint, and the paint is more forgiving. Right now, again, we just want to get that built into our brain, established in our brain, the shapes, the light and the dark, where things go. So he will become easier once we start painting. Thanks, Lena. Again, that head, sharp down, cut back. There's his beak. It's actually kind of a curve more like this. It's a slight S curve there. And then he's got this black beard. As far as that tail, think of it as I'm trying to think of a fudge sickle stick or popsicle stick. And usually they'll have 3 or 4 of those long feathers coming down. But if you establish just 1 or 2 of them, it'll register in people's minds. This is a good exercise. So if we were going to paint the same bird, but in a different position, I would go through the same routine with that. I would just keep drawing him quickly. And then when I actually go to paint him, this new pose, I'm comfortable with it. And now I can just proceed with painting without worrying about all of the details. The details will come, but it's usually that initial getting started that can hinder us a little bit. So as you do projects, I recommend doing the same thing. Just do as many quick sketches as fast as you can, do them slow, kind of look for proportions, look for the light and the darks, and you start becoming so familiar with the subject, he'll be easy to paint. Now you notice we haven't really worried about the legs too much. And with the legs, because he's pointing forward, he's only going to have that one talon coming backwards on our tree, or our branch, I should say. When you're drawing the legs perched on that branch, you want to try to find the balance, because if his leg is not in the right area, it isn't going to look natural. So you might want to practice a little bit, moving the legs back and forth until you can sense the weight of the bird and the balance with those legs. So looking at mine, I keep thinking he needs to, there we go. So look at how many times I had to fix that. His tail would actually come more like this. All right, so how's everybody feeling? Are you ready to paint? Let's see here. I see one thumb, two thumbs, three thumbs, 4, 5. All right. It looks like we are ready to start painting. So we'll be using the normal palette tonight, but one of the weeks coming up, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into the process. So right now we're using the primaries, and with those primaries, you can make just about any color. So the primaries and a few extra fun colors. But I'm fascinated with Zorn's palette, and Zorn just used a few colors, and white. So he used kind of a mustard color and ochre. He used a medium red, kind of an orange red, and then just ivory black. And if you look at under Zorn, if you look at his paintings, they're incredible what he was able to do with those three colors, and of course white too with it. So one of the weeks coming up, we're going to use ultramarine or blue, Alizarin crimson is our red, and it's a dark red, kind of like a dark apple red, cherry red, and then ochre. And I've just started playing around with this palette, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I think it kind of gets us out of what we get used to. So we've been painting with the primaries for so long that this will be just a fun way to explore other colors. All right, so that being said, I'm gonna put up one of my fun colors, which is cadmium red light. And my other fun color is Indian yellow. So my primaries, I have magenta, cyan blue, and I'm going to use cadmium yellow light. The real primary is lemon yellow. Cadmium yellow light is very similar. It has more pigment than lemon yellow, and that's where I like using it. So again, cyan blue, magenta, cadmium yellow light, those are our three primaries. We should be able to make just about any colors we want with those three colors. But I like to throw in Indian yellow and cadmium red light, and just as bonus colors. The fun we can have with them. And of course, we need titanium white. So you can use any size canvas. I happen to have a little 9x12 sitting around. And if you're using 16x20, no problem, just make the size bigger. If you're doing smaller, of course, take that into consideration, draw out your bird smaller. And we want to keep some breathing room around our bird. So I usually think of maybe at least 2 fingers going around the canvas. And of course, the branch is going to go off the canvas. But our bird, which is our main story in our painting, we want that in the center there. All right, so I'm going to sketch out with just an old beater brush here. And here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to scribble, and that way my proportions will be a lot easier to figure out. I'll know what scribble lines to keep, what scribble lines to paint over. And if you've taken the class before, you know that we're going to make a mess, and then we're going to keep editing. We're going to keep making adjustments until he's perfect. So don't worry about any details at first, just like in our drawing. So to get him sketched out, so I'm gonna kind of have my line there. So just, you can kind of do one of these things if you want. Don't worry too much about in the extra lines. Just keep moving. If you're using a pencil, just keep moving it around till you get the proportions the way you like it. Does everybody have the bird in front of them? And so just kind of look at, you know, the length, the width, make comparison to other areas. If you look at, let's say the white on his face and then those tiny feathers on his back, you can see the height on both of them are about the same. So this area here, so I'm gonna actually bring this white down a little bit, is the same here. So are you using oils or acrylics? And so if we have some that are using acrylics, I'm going to be working in oils, but if we have some that will be working in acrylics, I'll try to explain how you might want to do something different than with oils. And also there might be some that are going to use a brush compared to a palette knife. Yeah, just let me know. I used a brush to sketch out, but now I'll move over to a palette knife. A really good thing to do is to stand back from your sketch and just see if the proportions are right. Make sure it's not going down off the canvas. Make sure there's some breathing room up above his head, in front of him, behind him. You can, I think, because the balance is right in the painting, we could have moved him back maybe a 1/4 inch and just gave him a little bit more breathing room up here for good composition. But I think because his head's on this side of the line and his tail, the tail or the back part of him is on this side. So I think there's a nice balance there. I'm going to be using a couple different palette knives. And you can see there's a variety of shapes and sizes here. But even if you just use one, that's fine also. You just want to get as comfortable as you can with that palette knife. And so hold on to it with the tips of your fingers. This is going to make it so much easier to control the paint. So you can see I can do just about anything. I can go back and forth, up and down. The other thing about what's great about this is if you're holding it like a knife, you're going to be stabbing your canvas and your knuckles are going to drag in the paint and you are going to be full of paint and frustrated. So hang on to it with the tips of your fingers. You'll have just so much control with that. All right, so if you've taken the class before, I'm just going to grab a little bit of each color in equal amounts, or about equal amounts. Right, so because I'm heavy with warm colors up here, I'm going to end up with a warm gray mud color. If I wanted to go darker, I would just add a little bit more blue, but I like how this warm mud color turned out. If you want to know what color you got here, just take a little bit of white. Look at that. I can already see that color in our bird. So I got a nice gray there. If I take my cyan blue and equal amounts of cadmium red light, I'm going to get a nice dark black color. And here I am going to go heavy with the blue. Perfect. So I got 3 nice mud colors. And I can use these 3 colors along with white and get just about all of those colors in our bird. Gray is actually, at first we want to paint just really bright colors. We just love colors so much that we want everything to be neon orange. But once you start discovering the beauty of grays, you come to appreciate them and love them even more than the bright colors. So it's just these fun, and there's no ugly colors. Sometimes we'll mix paint together and we'll go, oh, look at how ugly that is. Add just a little bit of white to it, and you'll see the true color will come out. Just like our I'm gonna call it my ugly brown color with all of my paints. It's just an ugly brown color, but I put in some white, and I get this beautiful gray. So it's cool with this beautiful gray. If you look on the bird's back, notice those small feathers almost have a yellow tint to them, maybe a yellowish green tint compared to the grays and whites in his back and tail feathers. So what we can do is take a little bit of our color here, add just a little bit of our primary yellow. And I think we are getting pretty close to it. How's all the colors working for everybody? Just mixing colors is a lot of fun, isn't it? It's therapeutic. I'm going to try something real quick. This is where I start breaking things. But if you look, so here's my original mud color. I took all my colors, mixed them together, got this nice ugly brown, but it certainly is beautiful. You add a little bit of white, and this is the gray you get from it. I took my cyan blue and then my cadmium red light, mixed them together. I went heavy with the blue. So maybe 60-40 or even 75-25 percentage wise. And I get this dark black color. And I add in, with this color, I added a little yellow and a little more white. I get this yellowish gray color. But adding white to this one, I get a nice light blue, a very cool gray compared to those 2 others that are warm. So that's one of the benefits right there of a limited palette. And even with these 5 colors that I've created, I can still probably get another 50 colors by mixing these together or just adding some of these other colors to them. So now we're opening up doors to color, and we're getting 10 more doors to open up. We open up one of those, we get 10 more doors to open up. So color can become endless just with this limited palette. Right, so I'm gonna take my original mud and just go across his back. Kind of mimicking the direction of the feathers. And I'm putting the colors on. I'm putting it on dark, but I'm also scraping it on, so I'm not putting on too much extra paint right now. So this is kind of a cool art trick. So remember, I added white to my original mud and I got this beautiful light gray. Well, what if I take a little bit of white and come in here, get a clean up. And I just rub in these colors. Again, there's a faint hint of the feathers there, individual feathers, but for the most part, all I did is suggest that background, painting in that background. And of course, I can keep going and keep getting lighter. So now all my dark areas in my feathers are taken care of for one thing. And I can just keep adding white and I can bring it to any shade of those white colors on that bird's back. So I'm gonna grab my grayed down yellow for his back feathers. Am I going too fast? Do I need to? All right. Now I'm just using small amounts of color with my palette knife. So I'm not building up any layers. I'll just get a little bit of paint. Matter of fact, let me show you. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just a tiny amount of dark paint on there. And now I can come in here. Just run that palette knife all the way down, creating those feathers. And I can do that with I used my dark color there, but I can also come and do this. With a light. So when I'm adding paint, it's with a purpose. And right now it's not for necessarily for details. I did a couple detail stripes on there, but I'm adding paint in order to adjust proportions. So I'm looking for the weight of the bird. Maybe the heaviness of his shoulders compared to the lightweight of his tail feathers. So the palette knife can be very frustrating, but it does get easier. I barely paint with brushes anymore. I love painting with brushes. I'm just too ADHD for waiting for it to build up paint with brushes. So with palette knife, I can just grab the paint, apply it, and I'm done. Move on to the next thing. What's really cool is you can actually get to the point with the palette knife where you can paint realistic. Any questions at this point? And again, remember I see Lena's doing it. Thank you, Lena, for reminding me to suggest this. Look at your drawing or at your painting through the camera on your phone. Look at it on your phone through the camera. It'll give you a fresh set of eyes, and it'll reveal so many the imperfections of the painting. It'll reveal to you what it needs. Also, stand back. A lot of us are sitting. I actually walk back and forth. I'll keep walking back like 6 feet, and then making my judgments from 6 feet. So I'm totally judging Jake right now from 6 feet away.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
Anybody else want to judge Jake with me? It's a lot of fun. We make fun of him. No, but you look at the painting and you're looking at the painting as a whole. Now you can make a better judgment compared to being up close where you're just looking at details of the painting. You stand back and now you start to see how everything fits together, how everything's working together. So I love the vibrancy of the green behind the bird. So I'm gonna kind of mimic that. And of course you take blue. I should probably make up a bigger amount here. So blue and yellow. I can see I'm gonna need a lot of yellow. There we go. So if your proportions are not right, one thing that you can do is make your background color, and you can come in, let's say my leg, in a second. Let's say my leg came out here, and I'm realizing that that doesn't work. So what I can do is create my background color. And edit. It also helps me gauge what colors need to be darkened or lightened. So that you kind of keep going back and forth, making little adjustments, making corrections. If there's something about your bird that you're not liking, and again, it's not the idea of self-deprecation. Oh, I just can't paint this bird. Stand back and really decide what you like and don't like about the painting. What you don't like, do something drastic. Don't keep trying to fix the problem. Just go in there, do something drastic, scrape away, add darker color or lighter color, make a mess, and then fix it. When you're mixing colors, don't be afraid to push your lights and darks. It's really easy to stay in the mid-tones. Push yourself so that you're getting close to as dark as you can get it, a dark black. We're not using black, so we're gonna rely on what we can do with the colors we have, but also going as close to pure white without using just pure white. So you just wanna take a tiny amount of color and tint your white. So it's the tone of white, but it's not pure white. That pure white and that pure black paint, it'll kill your painting. And so that's why we create our own blacks. And you can see here, look at how dark that is on my bird already. And again, that's just taking the cyan blue and the cadmium red light and mixing them together, going heavy with the blue in comparison to the cadmium red light, and you'll get this nice, beautiful, rich black color. So everything I'm doing, I'm making slight adjustments. So since it's a smaller painting, a smaller subject, we could do thicker paint, but I don't think it would translate as well as just keeping it to a thinner paint right at this point.
Oh, it looks like Lena wants to show you her painting, Jeffrey.
No, because I'm gonna like hers better. She does this
Yeah.
to me all the time.
And then Jeff makes me buy it.
That's right. Get out your wallet, Jake. Hey, Lena, this one's extra good, so extra expensive, right?
Oh boy.
Oh, look at him. I knew it.
Yep.
What a beautiful job.
Awesome. There goes my
That
bank
was
account.
so yeah. I would start at 100,000. Very nice job, Lena. All right, so one thing that we want to observe in our bird is if you look at these feathers on his head compared to these, this color here is warm, but these feathers are cool. So we're going to get a nice contrast with that. So we made our muddy light yellow color and added it there. The yellow warmed it up. So to get a cool color, so let's grab a little bit of white. And actually, I'm just going to grab a little bit of this gray up here. You can just go with blue too. Just a tiny, tiny amount. So we get a nice contrast here. We get a warm, it's a little bit darker than this color, but it adds to the contrast. Basically, we have two whites. We have a warm, dirty white, and then we have this nice, clean, cool white. How's everybody doing? Again, keep looking at that bird closely, making little observations. Getting your shapes in place first, and then when everything's in place, now you can start looking at the details. And the details become way easier to do because everything, the shape and the body has already been put in place. As an example, I'm just gonna, actually, let's do this color. As far as his eye, I'm putting on an amount of paint on the very tip of my palette knife that's so small. Now when I come up, I'm just gonna do a little quick circle. And if you look close, it's not really detailed, but I got the idea of just a quick, simple little circle there. And then I'm gonna come back. And put a little white dot on the top part of the eye. So I'm kind of going around, looking at the whole shape of the bird. And I'm coming in and editing him. Kind of putting him on a weight loss program here.
Oops, sorry, Lena, I missed your messages. Are you taking off now? I'm just reading your messages now. Maggie Bakes wants to see your stash.
Jake's mustache.
You want to see my mustache? You do? Well, we'll all have to wait quite a few years for that. Fortunately, I didn't get the mustache gene in the Boughton family.
Well, you almost have a nice personality, though.
You know, my mom tells me that every day. Almost. Thanks, Mom.
Just know that she's lying to you.
I know.
Elise, you forgot to remind me about something. We gotta still paint his tail. You remember that was your job to remind me.
Did you see Elise's comment?
I hope she wasn't making fun of me. Oh, did Lena leave?
You see, I think she left already. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it is my favorite part. Fudge sickles. So I'm having fun with making warm and cool grays, pure green and then muddy green, and just having fun with the background, kind of making an abstract painting, but I kind of lit up around his head, since that's kind of the focal point there. And then I'm just kind of playing around, throwing different areas in there, just kind of suggesting the light is poking through the trees. Yeah, so just having fun with just creating a variety of greens. All right, so let's tackle this tail. So I'm just gonna create one dark line coming down right there. How's everybody doing? Let me know if you have any questions. And again, the keys to making a great painting, and you may want to write this down, is observation, observing what you want to paint. That's going to be where all of the details, all the information that you're going to need to create that painting. But as you're creating the painting, now you want to just think about contrast. So how can I push light and dark, warm and cool colors, muddy colors compared to clean colors, big objects compared to little objects, contrast in the balance of the subject matter and the dead space behind it, or the background part of the painting. So thinking about first observing and then just focusing on contrast. So if you look at that branch, the lightest area is on the top. And of course, the darkest area is on the bottom. And then there's this gradation between the two of them, right? So what we want to do with that, I'm going to take my original mud color and just rub it in on the bottom of that branch. So just putting in that dark area, I still have white canvas on the top, but if you notice, without even paint on there yet, you can see that that white canvas almost looks natural in that painting. So I really want to push my light to the lightest light. So I'm going to take some white and I'm going to warm it up with some of my warm yellow mud here colors. Maybe grab a little bit more mud in there. So I have pushed it. I think I could even get a little bit of this green. A little more mud. There we go. Bring it down a little bit with some white. So just kind of rub those colors together until I got a nice gradation going on there. Thank you, Annie.
Good night, Annie.
So I'm having fun with the background, kind of abstracting a little bit. You can keep it as simple as you would like. Even just having kind of have a fade. Start at the bottom, go dark, and have it fade up to the top where you have a lighter color. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Just whatever feels good to you, whatever makes sense. If you stumble onto something, go with it, but don't. A little is good, but too, you can also go overdo it and ruin it. So we have a little bit less than a half hour left. If there's something about your painting that you're not liking, do something drastic. Not always stay in control, but now might be a good time to try that, just in case you have any questions after you do it.
Let's see, Kayla has a question. Let's see, where is it? I think of the contrast. Okay, so let's see here. Question is, what are the, oh, get confused on what are clean colors? Maybe she means the contrast. Not a clean color, contrast. Hold on one sec. Let's see. Oh, can you point out the clean colors in your painting and maybe spot a spot where is
Sure.
where it's not for contrast. So a clean color and a not clean color for contrast. I think that's, yeah.
Sure. So here I have all kinds of just pure yellow and blue, which is a pure color. And then when I add white to it, I keep that pure color. I'm just lighting it up. So here's a good example of that right there. So here's the, this vibrant green in here is the blue and yellow making the green. Adding white to it, I get this cool green right here. Adding a little bit of Indian yellow and light, I get this warm yellow in here. But down here, I actually added some of my mud, and now I got a nice dark color. So it's definitely muddy down there. Because I took my clean yellow and blue, my vibrant green, added in my mud that I made in the beginning, And all it did, it kept it green, but it darkened it up, darkened the color up. Another example is if you look in here, there's all kinds of different shades of warm grays compared to on his face here. This is just white and a hint of a cool mud. So I took the mud color, added white to it, made it, all I did is I tinted the white, so it allowed it to stay a pure color. If that makes sense. So I would, even though I muddied up this yellow right here, I would say it's still a cleaner color than this warm gray that I have on his back and his tail feathers back there. I hope that answered your question, Kayla.
Let's see. Let's see. Thanks, Jeff. So, oh, so she said, so that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, so you can take a mud, add white to it, and get it to the point where all it is a white with a hint of that mud color in there. So it becomes pure again in the sense that it doesn't look like a gray or mud.
Let's see. Kayla put again, so the mud is important for cohesiveness, but the clean colors may still have a little mud versus more mud in the muddy colors for contrast.
Yep. So maybe I can do this again too. So here I created muds. These are just all the, well, this one's just the blue and cadmium red light, but this is all of the colors right here. So here, this is truly a mud, but I can take this color and just add white to it. Oh, I might need some more white. So it's just a cooler colored mud right now. So this color here is gonna translate cleaner than this one or this one. So here's the same color. And that's even a better one. This becomes, the more white you add, the cleaner it becomes compared to the original dirty gray. So the original mud, and the more white you start adding, the cleaner or pure that color comes again. Now, if we take just blue and yellow, we have a nice pure color. As soon as we start adding a mud to it, or we start adding red, which is its complement, now we're toning it down and it's becoming a mud color. And if we just take blue and white and add blue and yellow, get this vibrant green, and then add white, it starts out as a pure color, and I'm just lighting it up with white and making it, continuing with it being a clean color. Yeah, looking at your question, Kayla, that's exactly it. So maybe you didn't learn anything tonight, but maybe you did. Is there anything that you appreciated? And now the reason I ask that is because if we can verbalize something, oh, Robin, that's awesome. Beautiful. Yeah, nice job. If we can verbalize something, it usually goes deeper into our into our mind, gets more established in our skills. So if we verbalize something, all of a sudden we've taught ourselves what we know in our mind. We now, when we say it out loud, it now gets established in our heart. So if there's something that you appreciated learning tonight, go ahead and, if you don't want to say it in front of the class, you can just say it to yourself out loud. Matter of fact, say it as if you were instructing somebody. Expression deepens impression. Have a great night, Robin. Oh, really, Courtney? That's awesome. You normally work with a pen and ink and watercolor, right? I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, cool, digital. Yeah, I like playing. I use Procreate. Having fun with Procreate. Oh, thanks, Mike and Shelley, for joining us. Oh, beautiful, Sharon. Mike and Shelley, if you want to show your painting before you leave, a lot of people will do that. Sharon, that is fantastic. They're a lot of fun to paint. Oh, beautiful. Excellent, Shelley. Oh, nice. Yep. It's a simple process that we use. As far as sketching it first, not worrying about any details when we start painting, just start blocking in shapes, and then eventually the details. But attack any subject with this simple process. Now, I'll keep repeating, I'll keep painting the same thing over and over again. And it, like this bird, I've drawn, well, especially during the class, I drew him so many times, but over the years, I just keep drawing chickadees. And the more you draw them, the more familiar you become with them, the more confident you get with them. Oh yeah, you'll love Procreate. Bye, Shelley. Bye, Mike. Katie, how did you do? What? You didn't do that.
Actually, I painted it for her.
I knew it. Katie, that's really, really nice. Yeah, if you guys, now everybody's gone from the class, but if you get a chance, do it again and do it 2 or 3 more times. Try to paint them quick. Take your time on one, do one where you, like we're doing our sketches, do them really quick, and keep going back and forth. And eventually that, you get so confident, you will create a fantastic painting. Yeah, it's I like, for me, it's easier to go big, but a smaller one is fun, especially with birds. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I will have to let everybody know about next week. So with everything going on, we are way behind, and I might have to do one more gallery delivery next week. Let me find out for sure. But then we are hoping to get back on a regular schedule of every Monday.
Yeah. We're working on a few few videos also that'll be hopefully informative and fun to watch. So we'll put those up on YouTube pretty soon here.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, look at Courtney. Hey, can you spotlight hers?
Yeah.
Actually, I would love to see everybody spotlighted.
Let's see here.
Courtney, did you use a brush or did you use a palette knife?
Cool.
Palette knife? Wow.
Here, wait, let me just do